Hi, so it's Chris from Token Renewables, and here today we're just going to have a bit of a Q&A with Keiren from KMM Energy.
Hi guys.
Thanks for coming on, Kei.
No problem.
Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you a few questions, seeing as you're a veteran in the solar industry.
I'm only 35, mate.
Well, you should look a bit older, mate.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into it. So we both use open solar, which I think you probably agree is probably leading the industry with design software. How important is it as a customer to make sure that your installer is using the right software?
Yeah, I think there's probably too many people out there that wing it, don't they, and use subpar, calculations, and the fact that they're MCS approved is massive. So what that means is all the figures, the quotes in terms of what you're going to generate, the fact that it's in 3D mode to cover the aspects of shading. You can do different battery settings on there about the night rates and the day rates, without going into too much, but like if you've got an EV car, Octopus Intelligent Go is probably the most well known, or Eon Next Drive. To be able to have all those different calculations, I know we do it quite similarly where we might do a quote without all the bells and whistles, and then we can do one to say that if you do all these steps, this is how you can get the best return on investment. I think from knowing them personally, like me and you went to an event down in Birmingham and Open Solar Open Night, where we got to meet the founders and understand their journey, and their motivation is it's a free platform and they make all their money off the back end, don't they? Of the third party stuff. So the fact that it's free for the installers and it's the best quality one on the market, I think it's a really good thing for the industry, and if people aren't using that, I can't imagine why not, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it just gives the most accurate data out there, and just the fact that you can import different battery settings and tariffs, what makes it world class.
We probably only use 20% of it. Like, it's so intricate, isn't it? Yeah. And to have like Susanna and Holly and Birchie, the people driving it, I can't remember the other lad, with the mohawk, can you remember his name?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
But he lives in Costa Rica. Is it Dave?
Yeah.
In Costa Rica. We've got to give him a shout out because we had a lovely chat to him. And just to hear about all the stuff that they're doing in the background to make it better for the installers, it's nice to work with a business that's so customer and installer focused. It's a real pleasure, isn't it?
Yeah,
using the platform and working with the team.
Yeah, I'm so glad that I invested in training with them and yourself, because I've been complimented on my proposals and my design in the past. So really looking forward to using that more and more in the future. Yeah,
no, it is. And like you said, you've got to stand out from the crowd. Let's be honest. We're not the only renewables business out there. So why should people choose us? And I think part of obviously what we work with on the training, part of the stuff that we go through in the academy is being the best in the industry, not just looking the best, but actually designing the best systems, installing the best systems, and giving the best aftercare. Because if we use Octopus as an example, they revolutionised the energy industry by only doing one real thing, I think, better than anyone else. And that was customer service, talking to real people.
Yeah.
You deal with customers every day like me. I mean, they do not like the energy companies. None of them.
Right. Yeah.
But the only one that will get positive feedback will be Octopus.
Yeah, 100%.
So I think that's sort of part of what we try and aim to do in the crowded industry.
Yeah, 100%. Great stuff. Okay, next question. What design flaws do you tend to see if you're competing against other installers?
Well, obviously we just given Octopus a lovely rap there. But I know, and these guys are not the only ones. I know companies like Glow Green, not talking bad about them, but these remote quotes, I just houses change, extensions happen, the imagery might not be right, you might not be able to get the street view, you can't tell the roof pitch. The amount of times I've gone to a house where they say 10 panels can fit and I can get 18 on there, or they've put 18 on there and I can only get 12. It's going to give the industry a bad name. It's not that hard. You get a tape measure, you go around with the customer, you look at all the parts, and sometimes you can't install it. It just wastes people's time and it's misleading. So that's probably the main bugbear I have with the industry. I think also people doing a one-size-fits-all approach.
That's massive. So for anyone out there, we both do bespoke system designs where you might get a lot of advertisements out there saying 8 panels and a 2.5 kilowatt battery for $5,999, where the battery design is which obviously I learned from you, is so important, right?
Yeah,
Because especially when you break that down with a tariff, if you're charging a battery overnight, but it's not enough for your next day, then you're just going to be going into those higher tiers of the tariff, right? So yeah, mega important.
And not just the design, like a 2.5 kilowatt battery. I mean, who's that going to be good for? Like the average that a customer is probably a 10, yeah?
Yeah.
So 75%, unless you're a really high user, air source, heat pump, EV charger, swimming pool, hot tubs, all the different parts that you might have, you might need a 20, a 30 kilowatt battery. But a 30 kilowatt battery is probably about the top that we would go to in a domestic setting, but the whole world's going electric.
Yeah.
Well, I think the most annoying thing that winds me up is they might ask what you're spending a month, but they won't even look at your bill. If they don't look at your bill and they give you a package price for a solar system that's going to be great for you, yeah, it's going to do something good for you. But you're just going to have to go back 2 or 3 times and spend shitloads of money on more and more installs to get what you need because you've gone with the cheapest price or the biggest name. Now, I think solar's a lot different. It's not like you're buying a mobile phone. It's not like it's iPhone versus Android. There's, you know, loads of options on the market and loads of environmental and situational things in a person's house
100%.
that you need to see, and also they might be, you know, getting something in the future or getting an air source or get, like, you know, you want to future proof it. I mean, how many customers will come to us and say we're looking to future proof?
Yeah, 100%.
You know, and there's companies out there like Project Solar, one of the biggest in the UK that we used to work for. You know, well, myself, not yourself, won't tarnish you with that one. But, you know, you can't have more than a 6 kilowatt system. And then they're putting in 6 kilowatt systems and restricting the inverter to 3.6 kilowatts just so they can rush it through the grid. Looks all glossy on the front with 99-year warranties.
Yeah.
And they're laughing about it behind the scenes and they're not going to do it. So you've got to be careful who you get into bed with.
Yeah.
And going with a smaller company that's got a more customer focused journey. Like for me and you, we can't get a bad review. We you know what I mean?
It's personal service.
Yeah, it's a personal service, and you know, if you want to get something a grand cheaper because they're buying millions of panels in a year, but you know you're not getting what you're told you're getting, and you're getting subpar service, are you really getting a better deal?
Yeah, 100%. And personally, from our point of view, we've been looking at installs, and whereas we've been competing against some of these national companies, we've actually been looking to put a bigger panel in. So your average panel might be a 450 here. I'm looking at it, we can get a 510, and over the course of the lifetime of the system, there's a massive amount of generation to be had there by just going with a little bit of a bigger panel.
And do you know why that is? That's because we have the ability to move with the market a bit more. We're not buying 1 million panels at the start of the year to get a tenner off each panel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Our goal, yes, obviously we're going to make money as a business. And also, we're not the cheapest. Because you know all the companies that go bust, you know the energy companies that go bust, you know the solar companies that go bust, are they the most expensive ones? No, they're the cheapest ones.
Yeah.
So don't be offended, you know, if we're a little bit more, have a look at what the value is. And I think that's what, you know, a lot of us here are taught, aren't we?
Yeah,
not just by obviously our academy, but Trade Mastermind.
Yeah, and I know yourself, and I got it from you. I actually go back after the installation when the export MPAN numbers come back and make sure the customer's on the right tariff, because that's the key part, right? And I know you've discussed with customers who you've come back a couple of months later and they haven't got on the tariff, so that's where you kind of change your business model and make sure you go back and just make sure they're getting the best savings, because that really is the key, right? Especially with battery storage.
I think in today's day and age, you'll speak to 2 people about solar. One will say it's absolutely brilliant, they'll get their app out, they'll give you loads of referrals for whatever business it's from, and they won't say a bad word about it. Then you'll get another guy who says how crap it is, you know what I mean? And it's nothing to do with the solar. It's normally that they're not selling it back to the grid or someone hasn't come back. The aftercare, it's 9 times out of 10 the aftercare. Most companies do install it quite well.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that many companies out there. We do obviously see bad installs, but I'd probably say 10% of the market. So the UK has good installers, but I don't think they design it well, and I don't think they do the aftercare well. And you know, I think that's where there's a big gap in the market for people like us that actually genuinely care about the customers rather than just caring about making money. I mean, you don't make any money if you don't have customers.
100%. I think you provide a good product and service, and word just gets about, right? So
100%.
Yeah, 100%. Good stuff. So, why do you think people are still apprehensive about going solar?
Well, I started in 2017 and I was selling the future. So if you think people are apprehensive now, you should have seen back then, 18, 25-year paybacks with, 10-year warranties on inverters. It seemed a bit ridiculous. But then the energy crisis happened and all of a sudden some people were getting 2 to 4 year paybacks on domestic. Yeah. Because obviously the bills went extortionate. If you were a high user during that time and you had solar, you were absolutely quids in. Yeah. So if I was sitting in a pub with you 3 years ago, telling you your bills are going to go up 300%, and you were a customer and you didn't know, and you knew what I did, what would you have said? So I think now a lot more people either know someone that has solar or they see it going in all the time, so probably a bit more open to it. But I would say there's 2 main reasons why people are apprehensive about solar. I think they don't believe the numbers are as good as they say they are, because obviously maybe I probably get it more. One, it's the Ashes going on at the moment. And 2, I'm an Australian selling sun to the Pommies, so right. I reckon I might get more apprehension about that. And then obviously you've got the winter. Yeah. Is it any good in the winter? But I think education is a very simple thing, solar, isn't it? To us. Yeah. It's very simple. But I think it's overcomplicated, and it's just a 12-month game. You're just going to spend the same money with the energy company and never get it back, or spend the same money, get it all back, and you keep the profits. If you look at it in that way, it's a very easy decision. And it can nearly be cash flow neutral on the domestic setting, and it definitely can on the commercial setting. So 100%, yeah. I'd say that's the first part, but probably the most important part, and this will happen in builders, carpenters, plumbers, electricians, solar, car garages. It doesn't really matter, does it? No. Any business, you're going to worry about what happens if something goes wrong. Are these the best partner? Because they might already be sold on solar, but they've got 19 quotes coming in. So that you don't get 19 quotes if you don't want something. And I'm exaggerating, but 3 to 5 is, we come across it all the time. Yeah. After 3 to 5 home visits with 3 to 5 people telling you different things, because no one works for the worst company with the worst products, people are too afraid to make a decision. Yeah. And I think that comes down to, what if something goes wrong? Are you going to be there? And if you just show customers that you do that, I think it's the easiest part.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, so for customers, how would you recommend them pick the right installer in a world where, people are buying reviews on Google? It's quite worrying.
Yeah, or Trustpilot. I find, great install, team were good, 5 stars. Look for the one-liners. I don't know how many reviews you've written. It's one of my goals actually next year to write more reviews, but we look at our review channels and there's some short stories in there, and I think you look at the length of the review, you look at the names mentioned in the review. Yeah. I feel like if you've had a personable service, you'd know who the person was. Yeah. You wouldn't write great service. Like the way we ask about reviews and go back, I think that's obviously social proof is everything, isn't it? Yeah. Video reviews, if you're going to go back to a customer, and then we've even had a talk with our marketing team where they've done some jazzy graphic design. Great, that looks nice, but it doesn't look authentic. Even though it's taken off Google or Trustpilot, like people telling,
their story, right?
Me and you are not going to say we have a bad business, are we?
No, exactly.
So our customers that say how good our business is, I don't know about you, mate, but that's the bit that makes me feel the best about the business.
Yeah, I think I took it from you really, where we're kind of starting to try and persuade people to get in front of a camera, which is a bit daunting, right?
Yeah, don't tell them before you get there. That's what I do. I just say, hi, here's the camera crew coming out, here's some beers.
Answer a few questions, but I don't know about you personally, but if anyone wants to speak to any of my past customers, more than happy to try and link people up, because that's probably more important than any written or, like you said, graphics, right? It looks good, but it doesn't really give much substance.
I think referral bonuses are the best thing ever invented. You probably know. I bang on about referrals all the time, but listen, like word of mouth. Like I buy loads of stuff that I see my mates buy, my family buy, or we ask in our mastermind group, the trade mastermind group, what are you doing? Yeah. So that's going to be happening behind the scenes. Yeah. And we know we spend a lot of money on marketing, on all the different 10 regulatory bodies, and there's a lot of money spent. Yeah. But you know, if you can give, like, you know, I think you do 250 as well, don't you?
Yeah, 250.
250 for the domestic.
Now I do.
Yeah, but like,
Yeah.
you know, pay the customers, man.
Yeah.
Because like they're going to be the best salespeople, and salespeople's a dirty word, but they're going to help sell the product. But not only the product, but the service, and they're going to buy other people's trust for you because of how good you've done the job.
And I suppose a great way of looking at it is that's bringing down your payback period, right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah,
Like we've got a customer coming to our Christmas party, and he's got over 10 referrals this year.
So yeah, we're
you know,
about
and
£2.5 grand.
yeah, and I'm bringing another 400 quid to him because we've just got a dairy farm over the lawn.
Oh right. Yeah.
So you know, and like, how good is that?
Yeah.
He sees me at all these shows, and I'm just handing cash to him. You know, but he's over the moon because he's happy with it. And we had problems with his install.
Yeah.
He had a nightmare barn, a bloody ancient barn that we had full time. And like, he worked with us, and you know, it didn't go perfectly.
Yeah. Which I think is important to highlight, right? It's not when you know you can harp on all as much as you want about a great install, but you know, things do go
It's
wrong.
a trade business.
Yeah, exactly. It's trade business. You come across things, and I think it's just important to pick an installer that's
Dodgy surveyors, isn't it, mate?
yeah, yeah. I think it's important to pick an installer who you feel will come back when something happens, because you know, wholesalers, some products, firmware updates, connections to Wi-Fi. These are all things that come up in the real world, and you got
roof leaks, scaffold damage. You know, we'd love to say, like we said, everything goes in perfectly, but we'd be lying.
Yeah.
But I get probably just as many, if not more, referrals of customers that have had issues that we've sorted. Because let's be honest, that's a truer indication of your business.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, last week I had a bit of an issue with a customer where their app updated overnight and all the programming had gone. Reprogrammed it that night, didn't quite work, and then the following night we managed to get it, and it's gotten back on the right tariff and saving money. So
oh, that's awesome, mate. Yeah. And it feels good, doesn't it?
Oh, 100%. Yeah, 100%. And,
Like if you have someone working in your house, mate, you know, like I tell you what, I'm straight on that coffee and tea, mate, and giving them lunch and stuff. Because let's be honest, you know what it's like. Someone does that for you, man. You know, you're gonna have you're gonna do a better job.
Yeah, 100%.
And you know, most customers are great, aren't they?
Yeah. Brilliant. What a common question I get asked is, what does a typical payback period look like? And it's a difficult question because you've got to try and educate the customer on it's such a wide array of answers for that, right? Like batteries, solar only, only, products, whether they're having a gateway installed. So do you want to just touch on a few?
You want me to do a quick one? I'm really good at quick summaries, aren't I? I would say, if we want to do a nutshell, 5 to 10 years for domestic, 2 to 5 years for commercial. If I want a quick summary.
Yeah.
I'd say it depends on the appetite of the buyer. Are they looking to completely eradicate their bill and have grid independence? It's going to cost them a bit more. It's going to be bigger batteries. You know, there's no payback time on a gateway. If it's a house, it's not going to cost you $1,000 a day, is it?
No.
To close your house, unless you're doing something dodgy or mining Bitcoin. But on a business, it's a lot more common. And I think, you know, on commercial, you know, we're doing a courier business at the moment that they need 7 hours of backup for their servers to honour their contracts. So I think it's understanding people's goals. We tend to do 2 quotes. So one will be a really nice cash flow, ROI, you know, but it will be less panels, won't it? Because they're going to be using all the energy. Yeah. So if you use all the energy at 25p a kilowatt, you're going to get a better return than selling it back at 15. But then you've obviously got the caveat of the EV charges on domestic. So I think just having a look at the house. But yeah, that's the payback. I would say 7 to 20 years is normal. So 7 to 20% on domestic is normal. Yeah. And 20 to 50% is normal in commercial. So the higher the bill, the easier it's going to be.
Yeah, without shadow of a doubt.
Yeah, and bills are only going one way.
Oh yeah, 100%.
See what this budget says.
Yeah.
We all hate the government.
Yeah. So touching on tariffs, obviously with the with an installer, you're getting an MCS accredited installer.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's definitely something to look out for. So the MCS will allow you to have what's called an SEG, Smart Export Guarantee. So like Octopus do, and export tariff of about 15 pence a kilowatt hour. Do you want to just touch on, because I know you're really clued up on different tariffs, so do you want to just touch on what people can expect domestically and commercially?
Yep.
With regards to, like, I think EV charger tariff with an overnight charge on a battery.
Yep.
Well,
but before I touch on the exact tariffs, I think we've got to get over the smart meter hoo-ha, because we get a bit of pushback on smart meters. Now, the first generation of smart meter I call a dumb meter. They weren't compatible with other companies. Yeah. You know, they flash red and you have exceeded the weekly budget, people put them in a cupboard, and then when they changed providers, they wouldn't sync, and then the billing was wrong, and there's a reason they brought out a Generation 2 smart meter. So I think you probably find it, some customers are adamant they don't want a smart meter. But to get the best possible return, you know, we're not paid by the grid or the government to do this. No, you know, but if you put in a smart meter, let me tell you how much more exciting it is to get paid by them rather than pay them. So I think that's really important for people to understand that the new smart meters are actually good, but you need mobile reception. Everyone thinks, I've got Wi-Fi, why won't it work? The Wi-Fi connects the software to the hardware, but the actual smart meter has a SIM card in it. Yeah. So that part, I think once we get over that part, then we can obviously get the customer's trust to explain what we can do for them. So a standard tariff ranges from about, if they're a really small company, that sometimes it's 0 pence. I think you only have to offer a smart export guarantee if you have over 150,000 customers as an energy business. So I don't know if you know that one, but I found that out the other day. So obviously most people go to the larger providers, so it's not really an issue. But Octopus are probably the best well-known one. But what's been really good in the industry is a lot of customers think that it's not worth it to sell back to the grid. You must get this all the time. Now the feed-in tariff's gone, is it worth it to sell back? But in essence, it's gone from about 3p in about 2019 to it went up to 37p in the energy crisis, so it's inflation linked. So if they're buying off you, for example, from Octopus at 15p and selling to your neighbour for 25p, they're not going to mind, are they?
No, that's it. Yeah.
And you get a benefit, they get a benefit, and it's a really, really good way to leverage that amazing summer that we get of long daylight hours versus that crap winter that we get with terrible weather and short daylight hours. So, you know, you're looking at probably, you know, 12p with Scottish Power, 15p with Octopus, but Eon actually has the best at 16.5. One of my customers is getting installed today, and he's getting 6.5p with Eon on a night rate.
The next
Eon Next Drive version 59 or whatever they're bloody up to now. So that's the hard part. But yeah, he's buying it in at 6.5 every night through his batteries and selling it at 16.5. And he's going to pay off his electric bill and his gas bill and make surplus money on top. Yeah. And that's from 21 panels and a 10 kilowatt. So
for everyone at home, do you want to kind of give an example of how much an energy bill can come down? Yeah, well, I'll use mine. So I was paying probably about just under £2,000, about £1,800 a year on my energy bill. And I'm saving, this year I'll have saved $2,200. Now that's gas and electric. Oh, right, okay. So I paid off my gas bill from my solar panels. And the reason being is I have 980 quid's worth of credit from the summer. And I don't spend that much on my house. I've got a more electric house. So I'd say about £1,100 a year would be electric. And about £700 a year would be gas. But I'm producing 8,000 kilowatts a year, and I'm probably only using 4,000 kilowatts a year, and I'm selling it at over 2 times what I'm buying it for. So it's a game, and that's what we help teach people. And it's a game that you definitely win in that. And you know what? It's nice to be paid by them. I just cashed out 320 quid. I booked a holiday with me and my girlfriend, a return ferry to Holland, paid for by half Octopus, half Eon, because it changed halfway through. Because the industry's being competitive now. Yeah, which is amazing to see, right? Yeah, so Octopus dominated the market, and now Eon's the best on domestic. Yeah. So that's a good segue into commercial. So Eon last year was 16.5, now they're 3p. So they're locked in for 12 months on domestic and commercial. So on a commercial customer, just get a 1-year contract. Yeah. Because when you produce your own energy, you don't care about the import nearly as much. Yeah. So British Gas are the best currently now, 15.1p, just nicked ahead of EDF at 15p. And this is commercially now? Commercially now, yeah. And you can just have the export MPAN feedback to the grid at 15p. You don't need to be with them. You have to be with them. Right, okay. So you have to be with them. So as far as I'm aware, and it's changed recently, Smartest Energy actually offer the best one at 9p if you're not with any provider. Oh, okay. So if you're with Eon,
you're getting 3p.
Yeah.
9p looks awfully a lot better.
Yeah.
And then when you come out of the next tariff, just change to the next best one.
Yeah.
And that's why it's really good to work with an energy broker that has that sort of eye in the market. Because I think, Scottish Power were 12p if you weren't with them. Now they're 6p. So it's moving all the time, because I think they hit a quota, and then the next guy comes in and says, right, I'll have a year's worth of customers in.
Yeah. So commercially, is that what you're advising people, is just to go on like a year contract?
100%.
Yeah, because I suppose everything just changes so quick, right?
Only, like, I'll use our brewery that we put solar on as an example. We're only producing 40,000 of the 150,000 kilowatts. The roof wasn't big enough.
Right.
So there, if you're still buying in 110,000 kilowatts, the import becomes a bit more important.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be, I think they're using 96% of the energy that's being produced.
Yeah.
So therefore, the export's not that important.
Yeah.
So it's just about looking at, if you have a surplus of energy, it's really important. If you're using it all, it's not as important.
Yeah. Okay, brilliant.